Alright guys, I'm making another video here. I know it's been quite a while since I made one. It's just hard to stay consistent when you don't really have much to talk about basketball. So I'm just going to make this a sports channel. Um, Maybe this will broaden my audience from 20 views to 25 views. But we'll see. And I think that I'm going to make a video about quarterback. Well, I already know I'm going to make a quarterback rankings tier list video. So this is who I believe is going to be the best in 2024 and who finished the best in 2023. So that's where my video is. Obviously it's going to be hard with some people coming off injuries like Kirk, Cousins, and Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to figure this out. So again, this was supposed to be a hoops channel, but I only get 25 views. How's it hard? How can I do a hoops channel? Maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll do a tier list for this, and maybe do another tier list for NBA. Maybe I'll just do a sports channel, but whatever. And I look a little tan right now. It's because I've been playing pickleball, and I'll be honest, I'm terrible at it. I have some decent moments though. I'm not gonna lie. If you watched my previous video, you know my stances about me being a way better player in basketball compared to Breonna Stewart's, Caitlin Clark's, and all those people. I'm just significantly better, but in pickleball, I think that maybe a woman. No, I'm not even gonna say that. I'll beat a woman probably in 3 months if I can you continue playing. I mean, my slice is kind of nasty. My forehand's nasty. I just need to work on my backhand, and it's gonna be hard, but whatever. This is not a pickleball show, and this is gonna be about ranking quarterbacks from 32 to 1, and my analysis on why I believe what I believe. Okay, all right. Let's go to first. First, we're going to the worst quarterback that's starting is obviously Bryce Young. I mean, is this a question? I don't think this is a question. He has no talent. I played basketball against him. He's smaller than me. I'm 5'11", 3/4. He's probably like 5'10". He's not that athletic. He's a really skinny guy. His arm's not great. They say he's in it because he's a winner. That's what his whole thing from Alabama was. He's a winner, so that's why he is supposed to be a top pick or was a top pick. But I don't see it. I mean, the guy throws wobbly passes. The weather in Carolina doesn't help either. But I just don't see. I don't see the number one pick that I see with other players. Like we'll talk about it, Caleb Williams later. So that's my 30-second. Honestly, this is probably his last chance. I'm not even gonna lie. I think if he doesn't perform well this year with Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen, I think Adam Thielen's still there. But with Deontay Johnson, he's and Leggett and like on all these guys they have now, Marshall. If he doesn't perform well, I mean, you have to give him the boot. I mean, it's just you can't put a 5-year project on a guy that doesn't have it. And I think that's what Bryce Young is. Is just a I don't even know if you can put him as a backup quarterback just because like who's is comparison to him like that plays like him. He's a pocket passer that's 5'10", and that's really really hard to do. So obviously this guy's not starting. It's Drake Maye. He's not starting yet, but he'll be the eventual starter by the end of the year. I think that Drake Maye is a decent quarterback, but I don't know if they have the weapons to help him become better than this 31st, the 31st player, or the second worst quarterback coming into next year because the weapons are really bad. I think Kendrick Bourne's their number one, and is that your number one? I mean, the guy's like doing like conspiracy theorist TikTok videos. Like this guy he's a loose cannon. But Drake Maye, I like him. I think he's a good quarterback, but I just think that next year you're not going to see a lot, especially coming off the bench from week 4 to 5, probably, and then he'll play and they'll run the ball a lot with Ramondre Stevenson, and they'll run the ball a lot with Gibson probably. So like you don't know what he's going to be because the lack of weapons and stuff like that. So Drake Maye, second. Another person that has that same issue is Jayden Daniels. And Jayden Daniels, you have to understand, he's a decent player. I mean, he was good at Arizona State. He was really good at LSU. He won the Heisman. But his problem is that he has no O-line. I mean, Sam Howell got decapitated like 5 times. Um, and I thought like this guy literally was gonna die because that's how bad the O-line for the Commanders are. And I think Jayden Daniels, he has good pocket awareness though. That's what Sam Howell kind of lacked, was his pocket awareness. But Jayden Daniels has good pocket awareness. But I still think that the weapons of uh, McLaurin is good, but they just lost, I think, Curtis Samuel. Um, so I think they're still missing some key players that will help him grow. And Jayden Daniels is probably going to be the third worst quarterback in the NFL next year. I mean, the record will probably say it. He's probably going to throw a lot of picks and just be under duress like how Sam Howell was. And that's what it is. Next is Will Levis. He shows that he's talented. He shows it. He shows it. He does show it. But the thing is, though, is he had Derrick Henry last year. And they commit 6 in the box with Derrick Henry in the game. When Derrick Henry's there and they're running single back or whatever, and he's under center, they put 6 guys in the box. And Will Levis's numbers, his completion percentage was not that great. His numbers weren't that great. And he does have a big arm. He shows wow moments, like against Miami, the Dolphins, in primetime football. I think it was a Thursday night. He showed some potential, but he's green. He's green, and I think he needs a couple more years. And see, he's a project though. I would keep instead of Bryce Young. Call me smallest or whatever, but you can't be short and play quarterback in the NFL. That's what it is. And Drew Brees is the only exception because he's super accurate and he had a good arm for like 15 years until he didn't. But it's not even comparable to the potential between Bryce Young and Will Levis. If you ask the Titans if they would trade Bryce Young for Will Levis, Titans would say no. So that's what it is. Next, Bo Nix. See, Bo Nix, he's gonna have a good year next year, most likely, because he throws a lot of short passes, and that offense they have with Sean Payton is a lot of seam routes and short passes, and that's what he was doing at Oregon for the past 2 years, and I think he thrives in it. I mean, at preseason, you see how much of a baller he is during preseason, right? He's been killing all these guys. They're dropping like 30 points a game over there, freaking insane, and during preseason. But it's just preseason, obviously. But Bo Nix, I mean, he's better than most of these guys. I think he's better than he's gonna have a better season than Will Levis. He's gonna have a better season than all these other Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye, and Bryce Young. So it's gonna be a tell. Let's maybe see that he's not gonna be the best quarterback of the group, because once Jayden Daniels gets more reps and when gets a better O-line, gets more weapons, he possibly could be better. Drake Maye possibly could be better, because Bo Nix, I mean, he's 24, he's old for a rookie quarterback, and it's gonna be hard for him to get better than extremely better compared to a Drake Maye. So, or Will Levis. So right now, I think he's going to be better than these 4 just because of the situation with Sean Payton, who's a really good offensive coach, obviously, and then with the weapons he has, and they have a good O-line. This is the same weapons that they wanted to win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. So he has the same weapons, and I think this is going to help him a lot. So next, I put Gardner Minshew, and you could say, why is Gardner Minshew up here? But Gardner Minshew, the thing about him, dude, he's accurate. He wins games. He's a little turnover prone, yes, but he wins games. I mean, you saw it for the Colts. They won, I think, 9 or 10 last year. And then they were 1 away with that guy dropping the Goodson. He dropped the ball on 4th and 2 to basically win the game. And Gardner Minshew, he shows that he's a really good player. He's a really good starting quarterback. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl, but he can potentially get you there. And I think that that's a fair assessment for him to be ahead of these guys, because I'm a betting man, and if I was betting on a player of these players here, I'd probably pick Gardner Minshew to lead me to a win, and and that's fair to say. So next, Sam Darnold. You have to understand, Sam Darnold, before he got injured last year with Carolina, was, I think, 4-1. So that team was basically the same team with a younger O line than what Bryce Young had. Because Bryce Young, you remember they had that the NC State offensive tackle that played. He was a rookie with Sam Darnold, and Bryce Young, he has these guys a year older, a year better, this and that. And Sam Darnold took that team to 4-1 this first 5 games before he got injured. So Sam Darnold, he's a good quarterback. I think Sam Darnold's, honestly, if you told me Sam Darnold's better than Brock Purdy, I believe it. I think Sam Darnold is better than Brock Purdy. I think that he never had a fair shake. You have to understand, he played in the Jets. The Jets have the worst system. They have no talent at receiver besides Garrett Wilson. He didn't have Garrett Wilson back then. So he had no talent. His talent was Quincy Enunwa. R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas. Like, this is the people that he had on his team. And you're expected to win. And Demaryius Thomas was old. So you're expecting him to win games with that receiving core and their lack of O-line play. I mean, you saw Sam Darnold get smoked many times, and people were talking about the ghost when he said he was seeing ghost against the Patriots. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback at the time. The O-line was shaky. They've never had a running game when he was there. I think his running back was like Isaiah Crowell. Like, come on, like this is what we're dealing with, and we don't want to. And then it's not fair for him to get judged by being in a bad situation like the Jets. The same way Zach Wilson was in a bad situation, because you have to understand, Zach Wilson's a really talented quarterback. If you don't think so, you're crazy. I mean, even Chris Jones said it on a broadcast. Oh, Zach Wilson's special, because he is special. You see talent. It's just he's in a bad situation. You don't think Zach Wilson can do what Brock Purdy does? Like, you're insane. So I think that Sam Darnold, I would put him here just because he hasn't really proved it. But I would still take him, and he's still young. He's still relatively young. I think he's like 27, 28 maybe. He's still young. He's still a young guy. So I think that Sam Darnold needs to show in Minnesota that he can be a good quarterback, and then he's probably not going to stay there because they drafted J.J. McCarthy, but he can show that, hey, like, if you pick me and get like a Baker Mayfield job where like he's on Tampa Bay and he's like the quarterback for 3 years, or like Geno Smith, how Geno Smith did it with the Seahawks. This is what Sam Darnold can do for another team. Maybe not in Minnesota, but somewhere else. Next. Russell Wilson. I mean, this guy's shit. I mean, it's what it is. He's won a Super Bowl 10 years ago. He's shit, though. I mean, I watch him play. I don't think he's that good. You have to understand, he is really good at play action. His pocket awareness was really good. His mobility was really good. He has none of that anymore. His arm is shot. I think it's because of his shoulder injury. His arm is absolutely shot. His deep ball accuracy is not there. His decision making is not there. He gets sacked a lot. He does what Eli Manning used to do, or Matt Ryan used to do. He holds the ball, and then he sees them coming. Besides throwing away, he just tucks and waits to get hit, and waits 2 seconds before he gets hit. And that's what Russell Wilson does. He doesn't care about football. Let's be honest. Like that's just what it is. He doesn't care about football anymore. He just wants to make money and be with Sierra. So that's how I feel about Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't think he's going to be that good. I think Justin Fields is better than him, and I think Justin Fields in preseason showed that he could be the starting quarterback for the Steelers. And why would you start Russell Wilson? Are you going to win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh? I don't think you are. So why would you even waste your time with a 30-plus-year-old quarterback with a bad arm and bad back and broken ribs or whatever he had before, and who wants to get sacked? Like, and his pocket awareness is bad. Like, why do you want a quarterback like that? You want to build for something. You have young guys. You have George Pickens. T.J. Watt has still like 4 more good years in him. Why don't you just have Justin Fields become good this year, get him situated with the offense, and then next year he can bloom into something. Hopefully, if you only have to draft another quarterback. But I don't understand it. Russell Wilson, all right, I guess. I mean, he is better than these guys because of what he's done. That's what it is. Because of what he's done, he's better than these guys in 25 through 32. Next, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's next. He sucks, man. He sucks. That's what it is. He sucks. If you think Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback, you're insane. You need to go to a mental facility and be checked out, because he's not that. What does he do? They say he has great pocket awareness, and it's easy to have pocket awareness when you're play actioning to the best running back in probably the past 15 years. You're play actioning to since LaDainian Tomlinson. You're play actioning to him. They all bite for him because he's gonna get 5-6 yards of carry with one of the best O-line. They have Trent Williams, a top 5 player. McCaffrey, a top 5 player. Deebo Samuel's a top 10 player in his position. Brandon Ayuk's a top 10 player in his position. Like, they have a lot of weapons on their team, and you're telling me that he can't win a Super Bowl with that team? Remember this. When he was playing against the Bengals when they were down, he can't come back. When he's playing against the Ravens, he can't come back. When he was playing against KC, who brought them back? It wasn't him. It was McCaffrey. They literally gave the ball to McCaffrey every single play in overtime until they didn't. And that's what screwed them. He had Brandon Ayuk coming across wide open in the on a post, and he didn't even look his way because he was just so under duress, and he couldn't make that magical top 10 play that you would want your quarterback to make as a franchise guy, and he couldn't do it. So Brock Purdy's a system quarterback. If you're telling me Alex Smith and him change positions, that Alex Smith wouldn't be better, he would clearly be better. You're telling me that Sam Darnold wouldn't be better? Clearly would be better. These people would win Super Bowls. Maybe not Sam Darnold, but any of these quarterbacks that I'm listing later would win Super Bowls with that team. And it's embarrassing that Brock Purdy did not win a Super Bowl with that team when they were significantly better. They had a way better defense. They had a way better O-line. The KC O-line was pretty good. Their O-line was better than their D-line. The O-line was better than KC's D-line. The only thing that was worse was quarterback play, and it was by substantial amounts. And you could say coaching, but on the field, quarterback play was the huge disadvantage, and I can't put him over these guys. I can't. And you're gonna get upset, but if you get upset, I think you need to go to a clinic or a mental facility and get checked out, because you don't think that Daniel Jones is gonna be better than Brock Purdy if he was in that system. You know how accurate Daniel Jones is when he has time? I don't care about his preseason or his training camp videos where you guys are clowning him. I don't care. Daniel Jones is money. He is absolute money when he has time to throw. You saw it when 2 years ago when he made the playoffs. You saw it too when their team was healthy. Who was his receivers? Look who they have around him. Look how bad the Giants management is. They give him Jalen Hyatt. You get Jalen Hyatt. That's who you get. Oh, let's sign Kenny Golladay for millions and millions and millions of dollars. Great job, Giants. So who does he have? He has Saquon, but Saquon's in and out the lineup a lot. He doesn't have anybody. He's a mobile quarterback, but he can work on his pocket awareness, I think. He needs to work on holding the ball because he does fumble quite a bit. I think that it's not fair for him to be judged by what he doesn't have, because he doesn't have these good receivers around him. He doesn't have it. And that's not fair. And he doesn't have these good receivers. He doesn't have, what was his tight end, Darren Waller, who retired. And Darren Waller was washed. He doesn't care about football anymore. Everybody saw it. He's washed. He doesn't care, and that's the truth. He didn't care. So I believe that Daniel Jones, if he's in a better position, will be better than Brock Purdy and all these other quarterbacks that I just listed. And I can't base him on who he doesn't have on his team, because he's not Tom Brady, or you can just play with nobody. He's not another person I'm going to bring up later that can play with a bunch of nobodies and ball out. So I put Daniel Jones there. Another person, Derek Carr. Derek Carr, people say he's washed, he's old, this and that. You can make that argument, but he's. I'm not sold on Chris Olave being a number one receiver. Alvin Kamara's. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, the guy's in and out of lineups, jail lineups, whatever. I don't know what he's doing. So Derek Carr, I put here. I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. Um, he's a proven quarterback. I mean, he can win you games. I can trust Derek Carr to win me a game, and that's how I feel about him. When he was with the Raiders, he would win you games. He beat the first game versus the Ravens in Las Vegas. He beat them as like a 7-point dog. If he has a good running game, he shows that his play action is really, really good. And you just need to put better receivers around him. I think his accuracy did take a hit last year. I think if he was more accurate, it'd be better. Like he was like 4 or 5 years ago or 3 years ago. But it's also his first time on a new team. You don't know like what's going through his mind. I mean, everything's different. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll put him over Daniel Jones. I think he is better than Daniel Jones right now, and maybe it'll change, and he'll be probably bottom 25 through 32 next year. But for now, I believe that he's good enough to be in the low 20s, high teens area. Next, I think he should be higher, but I couldn't put him higher over anybody else. But Geno Smith. Geno Smith's a good quarterback. I mean, people hate him. People trash him. He's a good quarterback. I mean, with his weapons, what he has, his O-line is crap, but the weapons that he has, he makes the most of it. They went to the playoffs 2 years ago. Last year, I think they finished like 8-8 or like 8-9, but their O-line's garbage. I mean, their defense was garbage. So with what he has with Smith and Jigba and Lockett and DK Metcalf, he makes the most out of it, and the players like him. So who are we to judge what DK Metcalf knows better than us, or what Tyler Lockett knows better? Tyler Lockett played with really good. He played with Russell Wilson in his prime. He's played with good quarterbacks. Smith and Jigba played with good quarterbacks, and they all backed Geno Smith, and they like Geno Smith. So I think Geno Smith's a good quarterback. I think that he's around this area is fair for him. If it was last year, he'd probably be higher, but he took a dip last year. 2 years ago, it would be higher, but last year he took a dip. So I put him right here. Next, Caleb Williams. And this is just speculation, obviously, because he hasn't played a game. But Caleb Williams he's a good quarterback. I mean, you saw him at USC. You saw him at Oklahoma. You saw him in the preseason. He makes plays. His pocket awareness is amazing. The one thing he doesn't do is he likes to go home run. He does the Josh Allen. He wants to go home run, and that's the problem with Caleb Williams. But I think with Keenan Allen, it'll help a lot. I think with Roma Dunze and DJ Moore will help a lot. He has the weapons. The O-line is shaky still, though. The O-line is shaky, and that's going to be an issue. But I think with those weapons and especially with Keenan Allen being a veteran, I think it will help a lot in his growth. And I would put him here. You're not telling me that the Niners wouldn't trade Caleb Williams for Brock Purdy. If Caleb Williams played this year, they were winning the Super Bowl for the Niners. I mean, that's just a fact. So I'm going to put him here. I'm going to put Anthony Richardson above him. Anthony Richardson's a good player. I mean, you see the potential. He has running potential. He's a big arm. You see it, and I think that this is where I would rank them. I think they're going to be really good this year. They have a good O-line. They have decent weapons on the outside with Pierce and Pittman. They have Jonathan Taylor as a top 3 running back in the NFL. Excuse me. I think Anthony Richardson's going to be a good player. Obviously, the 4 or 5 games he started last year didn't show a lot, but it showed enough for me to rank him upcoming. Because remember, this is upcoming from last year to coming to this year, who I believe will be better. And I think Anthony Richardson has enough potential to exponentially grow compared to, obviously, Geno Smith and Derek Carr, who are going to decline later on in their career, because it's later on in their career, obviously. So Anthony Richardson, I'll put higher, And I've seen enough things where I'm like, okay, I like him. I like him. So next, we're going Kyler Murray. I wanted to put Kyler Murray higher. I wanted to put him higher because he's a good quarterback. People clown him because he's short and he's an elf and he's a dwarf, midge, whatever you want to call him, Kit Kat. But he's not bad. I mean, he does run around a lot, but his pocket awareness is amazing. I mean, he has great pocket awareness. It's hard. I hate betting against him. I hate betting on him, but I hate betting against him. So Kyler Murray, he should be on here. He's a good player. He's coming off an ACL. This is going to be his second year removed from the ACL injury, so he should be back to almost 100%, already 100%. So I think this is a fair assessment to put him here. I think we can put next is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, what a story, man. I mean, this guy, you have to think about it. He was in Cleveland. Okay, let's talk about this. He was in Oklahoma, and then he surprised everybody being the number 1 pick for Cleveland. He was bad a couple of years, and then got really good because they had a good O-line. They had Nick Chubb, Odell. Who else did they have? Jarvis Landry. They had a good team. Njoku. They had a good team. And they went to the playoffs. They beat the Steelers in the playoffs. They almost beat the KC in the playoffs. They had a great run. And now Odell Beckham leaves. He gets injured. Baker Mayfield gets injured. Nick Chubb gets injured. Their team gets injured. And he's not as good, but he's still good enough that when he's in a good system, like he was with Tampa Bay, that he can thrive. And what a career for him. Because remember, he went to Carolina, and then he played a couple games with the Rams. Like, what a career for this guy, you know? Like, that's insane. So Baker Mayfield, he's a good quarterback with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Obviously, like, having those weapons, that helps a lot. But he's a good quarterback. I mean, his completion percent, he's always been accurate. His completion percentage is always good. He didn't throw a lot of turnovers. I think only like 10 picks last year, or 9 picks, or 11 picks, somewhere around there. So he's not turnover prone. And the one thing he does is takes a lot of sacks, and that's a problem. I think his sack rate was really, really high last year. So I'll put him here. Next, Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to be honest, he's not that good. He's just not that good, but he's good enough. Is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl? I don't think so. I don't think he's good enough to win you a Super Bowl. He should be dominating his division. Why were they not significantly better than every single team? The Colts, the Texans, who else in their divisions? The Titans. Like, these are all rebuilding teams. Those 3 are rebuilding teams, and he's not even dominating that. Look at Tom Brady for 15, 20 years with New England, dominating the AFC East. Look at Josh Allen now. Look at Pat Mahomes now. They're dominating their division, and this guy can't win his division with the one of the sorriest divisions in football? How are you going to tell me this guy's not good? You're going to say, oh, his weapons. What do you have? Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk. Like, these are good receivers. Calvin Ridley had 1,300 yards 2 years ago, and then the year afterwards, he freaking quit because of like mental depression of sports betting or something like that. So Calvin Ridley's a really good receiver. Like Christian Kirk's a really good receiver. These guys are really good receivers, and he cannot perform with them, and that's an issue. You're telling me right now that he's a better quarterback? He's a better quarterback than, let's say, Jordan Love, who Jordan Love doesn't have the receiver names. I mean, look who he's throwing to. Christian Watson. He's throwing to Romeo Doubs. He's throwing to Dontavian Wicks, Jayden Reed. Like, they're good receivers, but are they good because of Jordan Love, or are they good because they're just good, and then this wide receiver scout for the Packers is just amazing at finding talent in the freaking 3rd, 4th, 5th round or 2nd round. He's just that amazing. So Trevor Lawrence has the talent around him. He has his Christian Kirk. He has Etienne. He has a good O-line. He has a really good O-line. And he couldn't put it together. He's turnover prone. I think he had like 14 to 15 picks last year. Only like 25, 27 touchdowns, something like that. And you're telling me that's good? He's averaging less than 2 touchdowns a game? And this guy's a number 1 pick, so supposed to be a franchise guy? with Doug Peterson, who's a proven coach who made Nick Foles look amazing. Like you have to put this in perspective with what he has. And Trevor Lawrence does not perform well. So that's why he's rated this way. And you know who does perform well with his weapons? Is Tua. Tua performs amazing with his weapons. He's a good O-line. Raheem Mostert looks amazing. Devon Achan's good. Tyreek Hill is good. Waddle's good. And he performs. And that's what you want. The offense is a little gimmicky. That's what I don't like about it. It's gimmicky. But I don't know if it'll win you a Super Bowl. I don't know if Tua can win you a Super Bowl. But I think that he's better than Trevor Lawrence because he's proven it. He had obviously their weapons are a little bit better with Tyreek Hill being better than Calvin Ridley, Waddle being better than Kirk. But he proves it. And in a tougher division. You have the Bills in his division. And then you have a good Jets defense in their division. And now the Jets will be back with Aaron Rodgers, so you don't know what that is, and we'll see what happens next year with Miami. But they have a really good division, and he's performing well. He started off really hot, got a little cold at the end, but he's performing well. He's winning games, and that's what you want. And that's what you want in a quarterback. He came back skinnier. He'd probably be better. So, next, Jalen Hurts. Talk about weapons. I mean, great O-line. DeAndre Swift last year. Saquon Barkley coming this year. A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith. The tight end. I forgot his name. What's his name? Dallas Goedert. They have a good team. And he didn't perform well last year. He didn't because that's a Super Bowl caliber team right there. A.J. Brown's a top 5 guy. Devontae Smith's a top 20 guy. So it's a really good team, and he didn't perform well last year, but he went to a Super Bowl. I think Nick Sirianni and him, the head coach, have issues. They need to work that out. Remember, guys, nothing's bigger than the team, and he shows promise. Like, he throws a really good deep ball. He's accurate in his deep ball. He's a good runner. He took a lot of sacks last year. His decision making wasn't that great, but I think that this year they'll be back to Super Bowl contending. It was the relationship between Sirianni and Jalen Hurts was so bad. I think I read or I heard from somebody that they hired somebody to be basically a mediator between them, like an owl from like Harry Potter, and just like talk back and forth. Like, that's basically what they hired to try to pair this relationship between Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. So I'll put him here. I trust Jalen Hurts in games, but he has the same problem that I think I'll mention later. But he has the same problem as somebody else later on in this list. Next, Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, I was gonna put Aaron Rodgers higher. He's proven. He's won a Super Bowl. He goes to the NFC Championship a lot. He goes to the playoffs every damn year. He dominates his division, the NFC North. And he got an Achilles injury. I think this year he'll be better. He'll be a lot better. I think his arm is still there. I think taking that year off really helped him. He took a lot of sacks in Green Bay his final year, and I think it will help him a lot that year off. I think it might have been a blessing in disguise because I don't think that team was good enough to contend for a Super Bowl, and that's what Aaron Rodgers wants to do now at 40 years old, is contend for Super Bowls, because why would he be playing? He said that if he feels like he can't perform at a great level, he wouldn't be one of these mediocre quarterbacks and whatever. So, and I trust him. I mean, how can you not trust a guy who's a top 5 ever? I mean, he's amazing. I just don't know what I'm going to get from him because of the Achilles tear. Is he still mobile? Is he still his pocket awareness is good? Like, can he still extend plays? Like, we have to find this out. I'm going to put him here. I think I would still take him without even watching a game of his in 2 years, right? Or a year and a half, basically, right? I would still take him over these quarterbacks for one game. If you're telling me one game to win, I'm taking him still over these other quarterbacks. And that's just a fact. So I'm putting Aaron Rodgers over these guys, and I hope he performs well coming up. Next, CJ Stroud. He's not proven yet. He's a really good quarterback. I see it because, look, he made Nico Collins look amazing. He makes Tank Dell look amazing. Dalton Schultz, what a great pickup by the Texans. He makes these guys look amazing, and their O-line is decent. They're not great, but I need to see it with another year. People have great years. The RG3 has a great year. You know, people have great years, and we'll see after everybody doing defensive scouting on their playbook, on CJ Stroud, what his tendencies are, how good he'll be, because I can't yet put him because he's not as proven as these other guys I'm going to put. He's not as proven, so I'm going to put him here. But I think that this is fair to put him. I guess I put one more here. It is fair to put him at number 11. I think it's fair to put him here. I don't think he's better than these 10 other quarterbacks right now. I think his potential will be there if he succeeds. If he continues the path that he's going, he obviously will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, top 7 quarterback in the NFL. But right now, as of today, I'm putting him here. Next is Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big fan of Lamar Jackson. I think he's trash. I think he's overrated. I never thought he was good. I actually picked him to win MVP last year just because I know they stat pad over there. So you have to understand. People say he doesn't have receivers. Who the hell do you want, Lamar Jackson? You want a first-round pick, you get Zay Flowers. You want a second-round pick or third-round pick, you get Rashad Bateman. You get these guys. You get Odell Beckham. People clown Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham's still a good receiver. You see it. You still see it. He's open a lot. They just don't pass him the ball. He played half the downs. I don't know why he played half the downs, but he was playing half the downs and no syndrome. But he was playing. He was good when he was playing. You're telling me that this guy can't win? He can't throw outside the numbers. He only throws seam routes. He only throws screen passes. He runs quarterback power. That's the only thing he does. He runs draws. You saw it versus Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. They're down 17-7. What do they run? They run QB power, a draw to Gus Edwards, and a screen pass to Gus Edwards. They ran that down 17-7 in either the late third or early fourth. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? You're telling me that they're going to be running the ball with Trevor Lawrence? I guarantee you they don't even sniff a run with Trevor Lawrence if they're down 17-7. With Baker Mayfield, they don't sniff a run. With Geno Smith, they don't sniff a run. Like these guys, that's how little they trust him. And you guys are just infatuated by the numbers that this guy puts up. But he's not that good. He will never win a Super Bowl in his career. Ever. So I think Lamar Jackson's overrated. I think a lot of people think Lamar Jackson's overrated. You're telling me right now, if you had money, you would be betting on Lamar Jackson to win a game for you? In a Super Bowl game. You're telling me against him versus any of these quarterbacks I was coming up that he'll win a game over these guys? You're insane. You're actually mentally insane. So I put Lamar Jackson there, and then I'm putting Kirk Cousins over him. Kirk Cousins is better than him. You can't even argue this. Kirk Cousins is a guy where they put the Minnesota Vikings, the Redskins back in the day. They put everything into Kirk Cousins. They're like, Kirk Cousins is good enough to lead us. He led Washington to the playoffs. He led Minnesota to the playoffs. You have to understand, they had great weapons. Jefferson, Addison last year, but it's not really fair to say Addison for Kirk Cousins because he got hurt. Justin Jefferson got hurt. But you can say Justin Jefferson. Who was his next receiver? KJ Osborne? Like, bro, this is who he's playing with. So he has Hawkinson, obviously. He makes the most of what he has. He made TJ Hawkinson to that guy. Because remember, TJ Hawkinson wasn't doing anything with Stafford in Detroit. He was okay with Stafford. But Stafford, you have to be fair to Stafford too, though. He doesn't pass a lot to his tight ends. Never really has. So, but Kirk Cousins was amazing. Amazing. He was leading the league in passing yards at the time before he got injured. They have no O-line, and he continues to thrive. He had Alexander Madison behind him. He continued to thrive. He tore his Achilles. I know it's going to be hard for him, but we'll see what he does with another unproven cast like Kyle Pitts, another unproven cast like Drake London. Like we'll see what he can do with these guys. And if he performs still to the capability that I think he can, he's still a top 10 guy. I mean, he's better than Lamar Jackson. It's not even close. You're telling me right now you'll take Lamar Jackson to win a game over Kirk Cousins? You're insane. I know they're going to put the Kirk Cousins in prime time, this and that. You have to understand he's underdog in every game. They put Minnesota against every team that are far superior to him, and it's hard to win a game when you're a 5-point dog on the road, or you're playing against the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry's World, or you're playing against the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. It's hard to win games like that. Those are quarterbacks especially Aaron Rodgers at that time is a top 5 quarterback in the NBA, top 3 quarterback in the NFL, and top 5 quarterback ever. So it's hard for them to win. For him to win those games. Give him a team where he's capable of winning. He's capable of winning with, and he'll lead him to the playoffs. I don't know if he'll lead you to the Super Bowl, but I don't think any of these guys will lead him to the Super Bowl. Maybe C.J. Stroud later on, and I don't know about these young guys yet, but obviously with Caleb Williams, I think Caleb Williams can lead the team to the Super Bowl, but he's not proven. Kirk Cousins is proven. He's always top 5 in passing stats, and that's what you want in a quarterback. So next, we got Jared Goff. He's a good quarterback, man. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's accurate. When he has time to throw, he's good. His mobility is not there, obviously, but when he has time to throw, he's really, really good. And that's what you want in a quarterback. I don't care about the flashy spin moves of Lamar Jackson. I don't care about the behind the backs of Mahomes. Jared Goff gets the job done. He wins games. Think about this. They were just like 0-15 or something like 1-6-15 like 2 years ago. And how much better they've become since then. When you have a good O-line, when you have Amon-Ra, a good receiver, when you have Sam Laporta coming, when you had Josh Reynolds last year, somebody he's familiar with. Like, this is what you do. This is why he's so good. Why Jared Goff is good. And Jared Goff, you have to understand, he flamed out. Sean McVay and him didn't like each other, or Sean McVay didn't like him. Then he flamed out for the Rams. But remember when he was on the Rams, they were the best team. They had Todd Gurley, they had Robert Woods as their option. Cooper Kupp was young. Like, they had I think Sammy Watkins played there for a year. So like, they had good options, and he was doing well with them. And then when his O-linemen started getting injured, when Whitworth retires and for the Rams, that's when problems started to happen. And when you get Jared Goff time to throw, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. So that's where I would put him. And then next, I'm putting what's his name? Dak Prescott. People hate on him. He's good. I don't care. He's good. I don't care. I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I don't even like the Cowboys, but he's good. He's a really good. He works with what he has. You can say CeeDee Lamb, great receiver. I agree. Amari Cooper, good receiver. I agree. But he wins games. He gets to the playoffs. He did it his first year with Tony Romo when Tony Romo got hurt. He did his first year. He wins games. You can't take him out. He's a good quarterback. He's just a good quarterback. And this is when Tom Brady says, though, to be fair, that the quarterback plays is mediocre, because 5-7 years ago, is Dak Prescott better than Phillip Rivers, Rodgers in his prime, Stafford in his prime? Is he better than these guys? Kirk Cousins back in the day. I don't think he's better than those guys. So, but I think right now he is. He puts up a lot of stats. They score a lot. They have a good O-line. They're running. They have a good O-line, but they can't run the ball. It makes no sense. So maybe they just have a good passing O-line. But I put him here. I rank him this high. And unproven, I'm not even a Packers fan. He's unproven. He's been there for a year. But I watched him at Utah State. I'm like, this guy's a baller. And he's better. Look at his options. Like I mentioned before, he has Wicks, Dobbs, Watson, the kid from Oregon State, Musgrave or whatever, right? He has options, but are these guys proven options? I don't think they are. And it's not fair. It's not fair to judge Jordan Love. I mean, it's fair to judge Jordan Love of what he doesn't have, especially how good he played. He should have beaten San Fran. You're telling me right now that they wouldn't trade Jordan Love for Brock Purdy? They should have beaten San Fran in the playoffs. He destroyed Dak in the playoffs and the Cowboys. The vaunted Cowboys defense, remember. He destroyed them. Jordan Love He's a really good quarterback. I think next year he's gonna even get better because I think he's a really good quarterback. He was working for the first 4 or 5 weeks. It was really bad, or not really bad, but just average. And then he exploded because I think he figured something out. Him and Matt LaFleur figured something out, and you have to put him up here. You have to. I mean, it's just I trust him, and I trust him in big games. He's done it his whole career in Utah State. He did it last year in big games. On Thanksgiving, dominated Lions. Like this guy, he gives you a chance, and that's what you want in the NFL. You want a quarterback to give you a chance, a franchise guy, and that's what he gives you. Next, Stafford. This is purely off his aura, his legacy, his cojones. He's a baller, dude. No pun intended to cojones. He's a baller. He's one of the best ever. He's top 12, 15 ever. And he's up here. He made Puka Nacua a star. He made Cooper Kupp a star. Cooper Kupp's best year, I think, was 934 yards with Jared Goff. And he made Cooper Kupp, his first year there, almost a 2,000-yard receiver. That's insane. He made Cooper Kupp a star. He makes Puka Nacua a star. Like, you think we see Cooper Kupp now when he's a little bit banged up, a little bit injured. Is he that good? We don't know yet. Because he's only done it for 2 years or a year. So we don't know. We don't know this Rams offense, but we know for certain that Matt Stafford is going to pick up this Rams offense and lead him to the playoffs if he's healthy. And that's the big if. If he's healthy, he's one of the best. Their O-line is bad, we know, but now their O-line is getting better. They have Kyron Williams at running back. They're going to be a playoff contending team this year. For sure they will. So I think that Matt Stafford's still a top 5 guy. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. I mean, his numbers are insane. You can just look at his numbers. So you have to put him here. Oh, shit. I forgot Deshaun Watson. All right, let's go back real quick. Deshaun Watson. Sorry, guys. Deshaun Watson. I don't even know what to say about him. He's trash. I mean, he's not worried about football. He's worried about getting paid, and that's where he is. I didn't even see him there. I forgot. Okay. Matt Stafford. This is what happens when you do one take, right? So then you got Herbert. Let's do Herbert after Matt Stafford. Herbert. He had good weapons, but this year will be a test. He has Ladd McConkey. He has Quentin Johnson, who's awful. He has Josh Palmer. These guys are young or not proven yet, and I think that Justin Herbert will show that he's legit still. And I think he'll show it. I think his short accuracy needs to be worked on. I think he got a little wild with his mechanics. I'm talking like I know mechanics about quarterback throws. I'm not Jordan Palmer, but I don't. But I think he did get wild, though, because you can see the ball skip to Keenan Allen. The ball was overthrown to Mike Williams when he was playing, this and that. So I'll put him up here. I think he's one of the best in the NFL. His talent, obviously, amazing. Probably the most talented quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he throws ropes. I mean, there was that pass he did to, I think it was to Davis, down the middle on a rope on a line. And I think versus the KC, I think everybody remembers that play. But he's amazing. Next, Josh Allen. Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's just turnover prone, and I can't have that as a quarterback. If I want to win Super Bowls, you can't be turnover prone, and he is. I think he had too many picks last year. He has a problem. He has a problem where I think he has autism or something, or Asperger's or something, because he dinks and dunks, and then he's like, I'm over this. I'm gonna throw a 30-yard bomb in double coverage and get picked off, and that's where majority of his turnovers was. It was in the offensive, was about to score on offense past the 50-yard line, and that's where most of his turnovers were. So I believe that he's not better than Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow has no offensive line. Josh Allen has a great offensive line. He has a good run game. James Cook, I think, led yards per carry last year, or was close. And this guy has no run game. Joe Mixon can barely get off the starting blocks. He's so washed and bad. And their O-line isn't good. You saw it in the Super Bowl. He led that team to a Super Bowl. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, that's great weapons, but he maximizes. You're telling me that T. Higgins, Jamar Chase are better weapons than Waddle and Tyreek Hill? No, they're not. And they have a better O-line, and the Dolphins have a better O-line, and they have better coaching. So how are you gonna tell me that Joe Burrow isn't really, really good or the second best quarterback in the NFL? He was injured last year. He proved it when he played San Fran that he was better than a lot of people, because he goes to San Fran, he dominates San Fran, and I think it was 28 for 32 or something like that, 3 touchdowns, which is insane against that San Fran defense too. So you got to put him up there. I think he's better than Josh Allen, obviously. I think he's better than Herbert and Stafford, and his IQ is really, really good, and you have to respect that. Next is obviously Pat Mahomes. What do you have to say about him? He's a generational talent, second best quarterback ever, obviously. I mean, don't say Joe Montana, please. I mean, he's second best right now to Tom Brady. Probably 2 more chips, he probably passes Tom Brady. No one will never see another quarterback as baller, I guess you could say, than as Pat Mahomes. I mean, the guy's a winner. He was like that at Texas Tech, even though with terrible Jakeem Grant and like all these other guys. I watched every Texas Tech game. I literally tweeted that he will be the best quarterback ever in when he was in college. I'm gonna try to find the tweet right now. Okay. I can't find it. Is the internet out? All right, the internet might be out. But yeah, I said he was one of the best quarterbacks ever, and I think when he was in college, and he's proven me right. So I think Pat Mahomes is number one, obviously. I mean, if you don't have number one, you're probably stupid or mentally ill. And this is what I rank. So guys, please like and subscribe. I'm not going to do Gaffett Hoops anymore. Maybe I'll just do Gaffett Sports and talk about both football and basketball. And I appreciate you guys listening if you watch this whole video. Thank you.